Welcome back to our Best of Boston series. We are now in our video on seafood. Very aptly, we're starting off in the north end of Boston. Right behind me is the Daily Catch, one of the premier OG places in the north end for Italian seafood and also Italian seafood pastas. I came here 2 years ago for a North End video vlog, which I'll link down below. But now we're back here just to dive into seafood exclusive foodieing. We're gonna be trying 3 different places, the Daily Catch behind me, and then we're gonna leave the North End for a bit and go to Belle Seafood, and then we're gonna go to our third place, Row 34, a really big local favorite. So we're gonna get started, and I'm really excited to see you inside. Okay, so welcome to the Daily Catch. It is wonderful and intimate. This entire place is no more than 360 square feet, which is the size of most of our kitchen. The stovetop and the chef and the pans hanging from the walls. You really feel like you're being led into somebody's life. I was just in the back chatting with the owner. The owner's name is Belle, and he is, I feel like, the grandfather of this restaurant. He is celebrating 50 years, 50, of this restaurant, and it shows. They have kept the same recipes for all their pasta dishes. This is an Italian seafood restaurant, and so a lot of their really famous stuff comes over pasta. We ordered their world famous Lobster Fra Diavolo, and then they have a unique soft shell crab dish, and I've seen them chop up that crab and deep fry it, so I'm really excited. This is a thing of beauty, and the texture is so outstanding. You can really tell how soft it is. This is like a whole crab here. All right, I'm just gonna pick it up and eat it. Wow. Oh my gosh. Oh wow, you see that those innards are coming out, and just the skin here. There's so much texture in this. Wow, that's so delicate and delectable. The cream and the tomato come out, and you really taste the soft sweetness. There's almost like a faint egginess. I don't know if that's the innards or not. Whatever is emerging from this thing is giving it a lot of creamy flavor. And I can just tear apart that skin with my teeth, like a bear. I've never had a crab that's been this easy to eat before. It does not taste anything like a shell. There's no resistance to biting into this. You can really taste the freshness of the tomato completely melted into the sauce. It's so complex. I'm really impressed by this. I feel like you guys need to come here and get their special. This is just a few weeks every year. The fishing window is narrow. Wow.
Right, bon appetit.
It looks so amazing. It's so vibrant. This is only a half size, by the way. I'm just gonna go in first because I know that I can't do much once I get really involved with this lobster. That's very fresh, very juicy and tender. I have a little bit of this octopus. I'm gonna have some with pasta. Get this spicy. You won't regret getting this spicy. But the flavor of the red sauce, when it's spiced, brings out the seafood, because the seafood is slightly sweet because it's so fresh. I think the pasta is like the definition of al dente to the teeth. It's very chewy. These are little neck clams. The really helpful thing is like all of these shellfish have really capable shells that can hold smaller pieces of seafood. Wait, I didn't even get the clam. That's like grinding in a really good way. Yeah. So here is a mussel. Since we don't need spoons, we're family here. Scoop a little bit of this sauce. Very fresh. I've unearthed the lobster tail. This part you can eat easier. They're for novices like me. A pity tail for me. I'm gonna go in. From her, this sweet. With a fresh, hot, steaming lobster tail. That's so juicy. I'm embarrassingly bad at this. They did already help me. It's never that easy. Do you see that flesh coming out? Oh. I was gonna do like the really fun YouTube thing where you slide it out and it's like sensual, but it's like not working. Oh my gosh. So instead, I'm just gonna eat it like this. This is where it's at, guys. It's in here. I'm really, really happy about this. This is one of the best versions of Fra Diavolo I've ever had. I mean, come on, there's like a whole freaking lobster in here. If you come to the Daily Catch, there are 2 other locations. Go to this one. This is what the North End locals do. It is no frills, all the smells. You can chat with whoever you want in the back if you're that type of person like me. We're gonna head out to our next place. We'll come here for the food and we're gonna go there for the views. So I'll see you there. Welcome to sunny Winthrop, our next location at Belle Isle Seafood. We are oceanic. I'm really excited to eat a bunch of fried meat from the sea. I feel nautical today, don't you? Now we're inside of Belle Isle Seafood in the neighborhood of Winthrop. We used to actually wander into Winthrop Beach. So many memories walking down the town of Winthrop to get to that beach. So I feel kind of at home in some ways here. This feels like a serious warehouse. It's also a fish market, and so it's got that classic New England seafood joint experience. If you think of seafood places as like semi-swanky, business casual places, you're in luck. Everybody and their brothers in t-shirt and jeans. You can get casual seafood dining right here. Everybody on the internet raves about the lobster rolls. It is the top 5 consumer reported best lobster rolls in Boston, and so we have to get a lobster roll. And I think we're also gonna get a fisherman's platter or like a combo seafood platter, fried trans fatty goodness. I'm really excited. I'm all revved up for this. So this is their lobster roll, bursting from the buttery hot dog bun. Minimal lettuce, which is what you want, especially when it's iceberg lettuce. Very large and differently sized onion rings, because I love onion rings as a side. The char on the side here, that fenced char look, and just as a comparison to my face, that's a lot of lobster. What I just ate was 1 piece. It feels like a lobster salad. It is pretty refreshing for the weather that we're in to have something this literally refreshing. You can really taste that meaty sea soul of the lobster and how hunky it is. A muscly knuckle. Chewy, meaty, and hunky are the 3 words that come to mind with this lobster. Simple mayonnaise-y, buttery formula. If you want something refreshing and overwhelmingly piled, this is a great selection for a lobster roll. You cannot dock this for not having enough lobster, that's for sure. We're gonna just try one of these, see how it goes with the roll. This is so crispy. You know how with a lot of onion rings, the inside is squishy and like soggy? This onion ring is like large and in charge. Chase it with some lobster. Chase the lobster with more onion ring. Chase it with some lobster. I'm sorry, onion rings are my favorite. I know this is a seafood video. All right, this is the fisherman's platter. This building has many stories, layers, but also I feel like literal stories, tales of the ocean. Let's see if we can break apart these tales. The fried scallops are really soft. I'm also gonna take advantage of some of this dip stuff. That's a very good scallop. You know how Charmin has those commercials with the fat bears that bounce around with their fat bear butts? This scallop feels like the softest Charmin bear hug in the world. My soul is being hugged by a very nice, rotund Charmin bear. I'm serious. This is a haddock, I think. Dip that in there. Just welcomes you to eat it. Okay. This fish is a mild flavor. Very pure, very true to what the animal is. I just found a new discovery. Haddock with cocktail sauce. Amazing. Mild, not mild. Yes. This calamari is kangaroo babying a clam. Gonna dip that. Wow. I don't think I knew how sweet calamari could be. This clam. Wait a second. Whoa, wait a second. Hold your horses, Sam. This clam becomes like a mashed potato consistency. That's like a really ripe banana. You know when a really ripe banana becomes really, really mushy? Some of these clams are especially ripe banana-y. After a while, you just can't figure out what you're eating anymore. It looks like a sea monster, like a long neck that's like got a lot going on down there. This place, what they do right here is fresh. It's amazing what can happen when you do one thing right. Anthony Bourdain came here like a decade ago and called us one of his favorite go-to seafood places. Outstanding freshness. When I eat fried food, I feel closer to oil than I feel to the sea. But this brings out the flavors of the sea more than it brings out the flavors of trans fat. The sea creature that lived a glorious life is honored by how natural it tastes. Also, portion size, very large, towering lobster parked atop overwhelmingly buttery hot dog bun. I think the flavor profile and the portion sizes merit a visit here with your family because this is food made to be shared. Tomorrow I'll be visiting one last place, a restaurant called Row 34. A little bit more premium, but still a little bit casual. I'll see you there. We're inside of our last place. It's called Row 34. It's a beautiful view with all of the windows. So you get a lot of light pouring in. Row 34 is named after an oyster. The farm that they usually source their oysters from had 33 rows of oysters of what they call the Island Creek varieties. But then this oyster was new and novel and took up row 34. And so this restaurant's just named after that row. I noticed when I came in that the sides of the bar are lined with Seafood Shack font detailing the beer selections that they locally source here. As their website says, if they could be eating oysters and drinking beer for every meal, they probably would. So I think we're just gonna get what they say they're good at today, which is oysters / raw bar and beer. One of the things I'm most excited about, their shellfish tower looks amazing. So we're just gonna get a big, freaking large, fat stack of fresh seafood. My goal today is to recreate the happy hour vibes on our last segment of this video. The double IPA called the King Stew. Cheers. Light, crispy, one of the lightest, crispiest double IPAs I've had. You can taste the hops, hoppy. It just kind of floats through you. Very serene, pristine, tropical. It's one of my favorite IPAs I've had in a while, and I'm not a beer girl. Awesome. I'm really excited. We've got pretty much a whole lobster cut in half on the top. Look at Mr. King Claw. Oh my gosh. And you see that crisp ice just buffeting it all. Go underneath here. This is the halibut ceviche tacos. Mango, cucumber, lime, avocado mousse. Take this as a first course. Oh, I feel like I'm ice skating with plates. You can see some of this cream. It looks really pretty. This is probably the most perfect mini taco I've ever had. It's perfectly doughy and crisp. It almost reminds me of wonton shell. It encapsulates the wonders inside so beautifully. I can taste the halibut where it's just that mild fishy flavor. It just absorbs all that limey, flavorful, zingy goodness. I love the texture and flavor combo. I think these are some of the best tacos I've ever had, and it's like the size of my cheek. This is the redfish ceviche, amarillo, fennel, pine nuts, and mint all up in here. Tons of fresh ingredients. Wow. I'm so confused about this fish. This particular fish. It looks like scrambled eggs, but it tastes like fish. Wow, that's really good with the pine nut. It brings out even more nutty dimension. It's like a petri dish of joy. Everything is so unbelievably fresh. Let's start with the oyster game just a little. The first oyster we're gonna try is Island Creek oysters. This looks like it's not even seawater. It looks like liquid air. It's so pure. It's gonna be so easy to eat. It is completely surrounded in heavenly water. Ooh. This animal carries a lot of its habitat with it of salt water. You get hit by a little bit more of that stereotypical oyster flavor, but before that, it's just a drink of the sea. It doesn't taste like it's been sitting around. I guess that's fresh. The essence of salt flavor penetrating this entire shell. Maybe I take a break and try a shrimp. I know what I can dip this in. This thing is big. Wow, this shrimp is really good. It's so sweet, juicy, sweet, meaty fish. I'm always like eating the thing that is not the specialty and like really enjoying it. After that, we have smaller eel lake oysters. I'm just gonna do a pure oyster throwback first, and then we'll throw it back with sauce. This one feels less salty. It tastes creamier. If you've had clam, there's a little bit more creaminess. This has more body, shapeliness. I want to just taste this sauce. What is this sauce? Oh, this tastes like Frank's Red Hot sauce. I like that sauce a lot. That's really good. That red hot sauce goes really well with this oyster. Someone told me recently, you pair something that you like to drink with something that you like to eat, it's just the right pairing. I think it's the same with oysters and sauces. If you like the sauce, just put it on the oyster. If you like it, it belongs in your mouth. Let's take a break and do a lobster. I'm gonna use one of the pre-prepared lemon wedges. Use my fork. I feel like you just gotta unearth it. Here it is. Third lobster I've had in this video so far. This is such an interesting bite because we just had chilled lobster in that lobster roll. And this is a very similar flavor. It is still very fresh and strong meat, but because it's not drenched in mayonnaise, I can taste a lot more of the lobster itself. I think I'm pretty used to eating lobster in butter or like Chinese hot pot soup base. For me, most of lobster is the texture. The chewy, muscly, robust, bouncy flesh. I think this food tour has given me a better appreciation of the essence of lobster. It's not very kosher for me to say since I'm surrounded by a lobster that's worked very hard to be alive, but I think I prefer the essence of shrimp. It's a true moment of introspection. Oh, just kidding. I forgot about this claw. I was so busy talking about shrimp. I almost take back what I said about the shrimp. I forgot how much I like lobster claw. Because it's so plump. And it really feels like you're holding on to something. Whoa! So the last one I haven't tried is this third oyster varietal, the mystery one. This one's the cutest one thus far. That one's more bitter. I don't know if this is what people mean when they say briny, but it tastes more like the sea. I don't like the pure taste of the sea as much, and it's definitely got an aftertaste. Almost like IPA is a little bit bitter in the aftertaste. It's a good pairing. Introduce a little more possibility to the flavor profile. Much better. You know, when you try on sweaters, especially in the winter, some people like big sweaters that don't fit them and completely like make them disappear in. Some of them like body taper sweaters that emphasize everything, even if it's all the right and wrong places. Everybody has different tastes for what sweater fits them. For me, the eel lake oyster was the most perfect tasting by itself. But if you get an oyster that's a little bit bitterer than you like, saltier than you like, then that's where the sauce game helps you pare down the extreme notes that are harder for you. I haven't had a chip. I think it's a sweet potato chip. This is very good. And it's sweet, like the lobster. Cheers. This shellfish tower, first of all, aesthetically, worth it. I saw it on Google and was instantly jealous. If you want to make your friends jealous, this is the place to come. Getting to taste so many different oysters, lots of sauces. We got some extra ceviche, tacos, satisfies all my variety radars. Especially if you're coming here with a party and you want to share this as a happy hour or even a starter. It's really fresh seafood you're getting. For me, it felt like a first time experience, being able to experience different combinations. I highly recommend this. All right, so we have concluded our seafood tour of Boston. 3 places, 3 different kinds of lobster. One realization that I like shrimp better. After all of the different places, personally my favorite experience was Daily Catch OG in the North End. Not only was the food phenomenal, voluminous, voluptuous lobster and seafood, but I got the relationship front and center, one-on-one with Paolo, who is Paul on the internet. It was such a refreshing thing to walk into a kitchen, bump shoulder to shoulder with the owner of a restaurant that's been around for 50 years. And by the way, he is known as the calamari king. He's the guy responsible for defining calamari as we know it in the Webster dictionary. And he lives in Boston right here in our backyard, y'all. Think in terms of that casual shack by the sea fried food experience. Belle Isle was really good because we got to taste some of the freshest seafood fried in really refreshing clean batter that wasn't trans fatty and felt like a heart attack. If you want fried seafood, definitely stop by Belle Isle Seafood. And this Row 34 restaurant, I would say, is really good for special occasions. That seafood tower, really Instagram friendly, good for parties. The presentation and also the ambiance, the atmosphere is top shelf. That's everything for today. Next month will be our last Best of Boston video. We're going to be starting a new series. More to come on that. But our final video, we're going to do desserts and snacks. I will see you then. Until next time, thanks and bye.